If you shrank down to ant size but had to face an enemy 200 times your size, could you survive? You'll witness a fight for life and death, the silent funerals of worker ants, and the desperate struggle as the rain pours down. I'll take you deep inside the maze, with cameras placed right in their world. Don't look away. Stay till the end to see how it all unfolds. Welcome back to ANTTREK. Day 1. I was out for a casual walk near my place and, surprise, I stumbled on a queen ant. At first glance, I couldn't quite tell what species she was. But as I got closer, I guessed she might be a barbarous ant, a seed-eating species. If anyone out there knows about this kind of ant, comment below and share some of their unique traits. For now, I'll be the caraman for this new ant colony. This little queen most likely just finished her mating flight, and now she'll spend the next 20 years becoming a living egg machine. Her first mission, to find real estate for building her grand new home. I followed her closely for a while until she finally picked a cool, breezy spot and started digging like her life depended on. A queen can live 15 to 20 years, prefers a warm, dry environment, lays 10 to 20 eggs in her first brood, then stabilizes at 500 to 1,500 eggs per year, has very strong mandibles that crush hard seeds, and is highly tolerant of hunger and dryness. Diet favors dry seeds, millet, oats, wheat, with diluted honey, honeydew, and protein from small insects. When the first chamber is dug out, it's dark. There's no food, no workers, and definitely no Netflix. Just one lone queen with the eggs inside her body. The goal of building such a strong, safe home is so that once she lays her eggs and raises her young, she won't be spotted by predators or other creatures. Day 20. This is the moment when the queen finally laid her first eggs. But here's the fascinating part. At first, the queen has to raise them all by herself. And every egg needs food. The shocking thing, the queen has not eaten since she went underground. So where does the food come from? From her own body. After cutting off her wings, the muscles in her thorax begin to break down into amino acids, while her fat body releases triglycerides and glycogen, providing energy and nutrients for vitellogenesis and for feeding her larvae. After 2 months, I came back. The first generation of worker ants had been born, and these little ones are going to be busy bees. The sole purpose of a worker ant's life is to serve and care for the queen and her tiny offspring. The queen needs proper nutrition to reproduce and take care of her larvae. Worker ants live for 1 to 3 years in the warm, dry Mediterranean climate. They do not reproduce, but instead forage, measuring 3 to 14 millimeters in length. They grind and store seeds, care for larvae, and defend the nest. Their jaws are extremely strong, capable of carrying 10 to 20 times their own weight and crushing hard seed shells. Their diet consists mainly of dry seeds, such as millet, oats, and wheat, supplemented with protein from small insects and sugar from honey or honeydew. So the very first mission of these newborn workers is to go out and find food. Most people believe that ants rely on their antennae to detect food, then identify its exact location and carry it back to the nest. That's a widely accepted theory about ant behavior. However, from what I've personally observed, I've discovered something truly fascinating. Ants can locate food within seconds of first touching it. This forces us to reconsider what we think we know about how ants behave. In this video, I'll reveal the secrets behind the daily lives of the barbarous ant colony. Stick around till the end. You don't want to miss a single detail. Whenever they find a trail of seeds, they immediately join in, working together to collect food over a much wider area. This foraging process isn't just a simple instinctual reaction. It shows a remarkable level of organization, a systematic and coordinated method of finding resources. The millet seeds lay snugly beneath a thin layer of soil. Millet is one of the most nutritious grains, high in starch. The worker ants grind it into ant cakes to feed the colony. The ants' sense of smell is not only sharp, but can also detect chemical signals in the air, allowing them to recognize food even before touching it. Once they reach the seeds, they divide the work. Each ant uses its jaws to clamp onto the grains, which, though small to us, are quite large compared to their bodies. They carry seeds nearly as heavy as themselves. For humans, that would be like carrying a person the same weight as you for a long distance. And yet, the number of seeds they haul keeps growing day by day. There's a reason why an ant colony works so hard. Because in the wild, survival is never easy. Predators are always lurking, and hunger makes them more dangerous than ever. That's why they always need a reserve food source. Day 90. But in the wild, besides finding food to survive, ant colonies also have to face the full force of nature itself. Today, during my journey observing them again, I was surprised by how the colony reacts right before a storm hits. So how do these tiny creatures handle the challenges that nature throws at them? From the very moment air pressure drops and humidity rises, the ants quietly sound their internal alarm. It's a kind of social intelligence that lets them predict, react, and adapt to changing weather, especially rain, humidity shifts, and atmospheric pressure changes. At this point, only a few worker ants are still carrying food back to the nest. They're gradually stopping their foraging activities outside. The pheromone trails leading out of the nest begin to fade as the ants cease coming and going. Deep inside the nest, the ants are now crowded together, packed tightly into a single chamber. And then, the rain finally comes, accompanied by loud thunder and flashes of lightning. The rain starts pouring down, accompanied by loud thunder and bright flashes of lightning. Some of the ants on higher levels or near the ground scatter in all directions during those first few seconds. It's an instant survival reflex, kind of like a startle reaction. But soon after, the entire colony calms down and begins to adapt. If you've ever looked into how ants react when it rains, drop a comment and let us know what you've learned. On the surface, the rainwater soaks into the ground little by little. Yet somehow, the ant nest remains solid and stable. It doesn't collapse or wash away. The secret lies in their engineering. Ants build their nests to minimize water absorption and maximize drainage. The chambers and tunnels are sloped, the entrances are elevated, and the surface layer is packed tight to reduce porosity, slowing down water seepage and guiding the runoff away. Truly, they deserve the title of master architects. Their nest isn't just water resistant, it's also ingeniously designed. There are decoy entrances to fool predators, and beneath the surface lie up to 5 chambers, a food storage, a kitchen, a shelter, and a nursery where the queen resides. The ant colony's remarkable structure doesn't just protect them from storms, it's also a safe refuge whenever they encounter natural predators. Day 120. The appearance of a stranger. In nature, any creature with a scent different from the ants is immediately detected and attacked by the colony. That's pure instinct, their way of protecting the queen. And this time, the intruder is a praying mantis. But this isn't just any random bug, it's a skilled hunter. Can the gentle, hard-working ants stand up to this deadly predator? It can grow up to 9 to 11 centimeters in length, usually found in tropical and subtropical regions, though some also live in warm temperate zones. It has razor-sharp, raptorial forelegs that grip prey tightly, its strike speed, just a few milliseconds. Moreover, ants, along with several other small insects, are actually among the mantis's favorite meals, which makes this a tough challenge for the ant colony. The praying mantis is one of the most successful predators, with a hunting success rate of up to 85%, a number that could terrify any lone prey. But the ants, with their teamwork and unity, turn the tables on their enemy. Will the mantis become their next meal? Through strategic coordination, the strong soldier ants, armed with sharp jaws, bite and cling relentlessly. Even if they're dragged away, they never let go. This may also be a defensive strategy, releasing alarm pheromones to warn the colony and prepare for counterattack. Once the mantis can no longer move fast or struggle hard, the ants swarm in. They divide the work strategically. Some target the mantis's joints or wings. Others crawl over its body, delivering painful bites that weaken it bit by bit. Eventually, the mantis fails its hunt, proving that even a top predator can't mess with this ant army. Seed-eating ants have truly formidable jaws. They clamp onto living prey and refuse to let go. The mantis had to escape with a burst of flight and leaps, snatching a few ants as it fled. Seed-eating ants have truly formidable jaws. They clamp onto living prey and refuse to let go. The mantis tried to flee, but it couldn't escape the biting jaws. They held fast to its front legs and abdomen. But the mantis had a fearsome bite. It tore into its meal while the ant desperately clung to its forelegs. In the end, it slipped out of the ant's reach, but its eyes were still filled with rage, a silent vow that one day it would return. Day 150. The colony has survived this far thanks to courage, teamwork, and collective coordination. But here's a question. What if something breaks that connection? What if they're separated and can't coordinate? Because in nature, every creature, not just humans, faces trials. This time, nature brings the ants a powerful storm. The wind is so strong that their pheromones lose effect. The ants become disoriented, each struggling just to survive. With their scent signals blown away, they can no longer find each other to regroup. Instead, they cling desperately to anything they can, trying not to be swept into the air. The scene turns chaotic. Dry leaves swirl through the air. Luckily, some of them block the nest entrance, helping the colony avoid the full force of the wind below. The colony is always targeted by many species, not only natural predators, but also competing ant armies. In day 180, across the field near the ant colony, another army of ants emerges from the hidden shelter of a rival tribe. They are predators, always lurking, always hunting smaller insects. Today, their eyes lock onto a cockroach slipping through their territory. These ants live for about 3 to 5 years and belong to the group of large ants, measuring 12 to 20 millimeters in length. Their natural habitat is the tropical rainforest. They possess long, thick, and powerful mandibles used to grip and control their prey before delivering a sting. Their hunting style is a mix of ambush and leap attacks, relying heavily on sharp vision and explosive jumps to close in on or escape from a target. The chase begins, a deadly race for survival. Once the ants have locked onto their prey, they relentlessly pursue it. One of them strikes, driving its sharp, elongated mandibles deep into the cockroach's soft body. When the cockroach was flipped onto its back, it was almost impossible for it to escape. Another ant from the colony slipped in, its keen sense of smell sniffing out the location. The jumping ant didn't just leap. It had razor-sharp eyes and a stout, powerful body that outmatched many other ants. Truly born to fight, any insect that crossed its path could become prey. But this prey was strange. It was facing one of its own. Cold, hard eyes and jaws, sharp as swords. Just one powerful strike could pierce its opponent. In the end, they were simply two hungry creatures following the scent of their prey. But that scent accidentally drifted toward a nearby army of seed-eating ants, and a ferocious battle instantly erupted between the two sides. Though the jumping ants were larger in size, they were outnumbered. The seed-eaters poured out in waves, locking their powerful mandibles onto the joints of their enemies. The ranks of the seed-eating ants swelled by the minute, their relentless attacks forcing the jumping ants to curl up. An encounter no one saw coming. Simply by following the scent of prey, two armies found themselves locked in a brutal, sweat-drenched clash. They were much larger but couldn't outnumber them. The seed ant force poured in, clamping their powerful mandibles onto the jumping ants' joints. In nature, for these tiny creatures, things may seem simple, but they're not. It's an entire ecosystem filled with hidden stories our eyes can't normally see. Tales of battle, survival, and relentless struggle beneath the surface. And a tragic end for the jumping ant. It wasn't left intact. Its body was ravaged, covered everywhere in bite and tear marks. In an ant colony, whenever an intruder appears, they will defend the queen. But who in the nest is the queen with wings? Let's discover. Day 200. Inside the ant colony, a pair of white wings appeared, nearly the same size as the queen herself. That was the heir to the throne. They are known as young queens, and during their formation, the worker ants tirelessly feed them, pumping them full of protein and fat until they mature and their wings fully grow. However, raising even one new queen costs the colony an enormous amount of resources, all while facing no pressure themselves. While the worker sisters toil outside, hauling tiny grains back to make food and sustain the colony, the young queen lives like a VIP guest. But this luxurious lifestyle has an expiration date. Once her wings are fully developed, she must leave the nest to seek her own kingdom. She will depart the colony with a few of her sisters, as if celebrating her wedding ceremony in a distant new home. After seeing her sister off to her wedding, the ant colony returned to life as usual. And that was the 200-day journey of a tiny empire called Barbarous. From a solitary queen, she gave rise to an entire kingdom, where every grain of sand and every drop of sweat from the worker ants helped write the miracle of survival. They faced storms, predators, and even bloody battles, proving that no matter how small, with unity, they can overcome anything. Nature keeps moving in its own way, but beneath the Earth's surface, the life of the colony continues, silent, steadfast, and full of tenacity. Check out this video for more, and I'll see you in the next one.